What's up, everybody, and welcome to Englewood, Florida. Alright guys, just so you guys can understand what happened here, you can see that the storm surge whipped up about 4 feet of sand, and now, in fact, if you look at where these people are sitting, a lot of them are practically almost a few feet underneath the palm trees. And those palm trees should be 12 feet above people's heads. I mean, just take a look at this boardwalk here. This boardwalk is now completely submerged. So where we are standing right now, we're in a good 3 feet of sand above grade. All right, so just so you guys can understand the power of the storm surge, there's just a palm tree here randomly, right, on the beach. But, well, where did this palm tree come from? Because this looks like a shark, part of a shark. Technically in Florida, the dunes are protected. A lot of people in Florida are saying, we don't want these houses on the beach. They want these houses all plowed to the ground, hauled off, and for the barrier islands to go back to belonging to nature. But well, when the people here in Florida see something like this, naturally they get upset. I mean, and really, who wouldn't want a house on the beach here? We're actually walking along the beach today. I'm out on the front street, I'm on the beach. I'm walking on feet. It's a good walk to get you guys this footage. So make sure you at least hit the like button. Alright guys, so you can see on these posts that the water came to about 4 feet here on the road. So we walked for almost a mile along the sand. A lot of people did have a lot of destruction. There's just debris plowed into the woods here. It's crazy. This is about as far as we can go. From here forward, the road is closed. The road's closed from here on. There's no going any further. But we got to turn around now because up ahead it's closed. I mean, we're talking house is completely gone. This is the situation here on Minnesota Key. We're talking to the ground, nothing left. Heavily wooded here, but you can see it's clear through the houses. Wow, it's just washed away this driveway right here. All right, so just so you guys understand this real quick, I walked all the way down there for a few miles metal detecting. I didn't realize that the road was closed, but Katie had to go pick me up. All right, guys, we're officially now in Englewood, Florida. All right, guys, welcome to Englewood, Florida. That's as far as we could go on Minnesota Key, because eventually you can only walk so far before you enter an area where only residents are allowed. So, all right, guys, this is now Englewood, Florida. Now, on the other side of the road, you can see a line of garbage. I think what happened here is that during the first storm surge, people put a lot of garbage out. Then came the second storm surge. So where we are standing right now, we're being about 3 feet of water. You can see the water line there. And I'm going to guess by the amount of garbage on the other side of the road that the storm surge flooded away the garbage. All right, bro, thanks, man. So everywhere I go, people recognize me, and it's been awesome. We get a lot of love and respect from the community. It seems like there isn't a day where somebody doesn't recognize me anymore. But this is a situation here in Englewood. You can see quite a bit of destruction. And I do hear a generator running, so some people may not even have power yet. I want to send a big salute and hug to everybody in Englewood, Florida. This is one of the towns that has supported me the most for my YouTube career. The people here of Englewood have a long road to recovery ahead of them. You know, some of these floors and interior of these homes may be original, but the storm surge came in here and destroyed everything that people had. The people of Englewood have been really great in supporting our YouTube channel. And I've got people in this town that literally invite me to their homes for dinner or take us out to dinner. The people in this area have been really great, and I want to thank them for supporting our YouTube channel like nobody else. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, guys. You can see the garbage stuck on the fence, so when the water came up, it would just force everything to the fence, and stuff gets stuck in the fence like this. So let's just give you an idea of how high the water line was when there's stuff stuck in the fences like this. You know, and the thing about Englewood, it's a small town, so a lot of the big stream media networks, they're not covering this. You know, the big media outlets, they're not going to cover a small town like Englewood. So this is Dearborn, which is kind of like the main street here. This is kind of like the town's downtown, you could call it. And you can see how here the wind or debris busted through windows, water flowed through buildings. This is a funeral home out of all places. Oh, it's more than sad to see the beautiful town of Englewood in this condition. You can tell by the fences how high the water came up. So there's a bag right there on the ground, and I thought it was contraband because it's like a Ziploc bag that's sealed. So here I am. I see this bag on the ground, and I'm thinking it's contraband. So I start messing with it, trying to open it, and I realize it's human waste. That exactly. Oh man, I thought I had found myself a few $1,000s. It's a bag with human waste. I thought it was contraband. It's a Ziploc bag, really tight, real, you know, scent tight and everything. And I'm start messing with it. I'm like, oh, this literally looks like a bag, a nice Ziploc bag with some brown stuff. And I'm like, what the crap is this? Open it up, human waste. Not exactly what I was hoping for. So here's a canoe that somebody lost, or just sitting here drowning. You might be able to rescue it, actually. These things are pretty, looks like somebody tied it here, actually. So maybe it's somebody who was homeless and living out of it. Not sure. You can see there's like a roof panel here that got jammed up against this, this giant roof panel. Big old giant roof panel here. And the question is, where did it come from? But here it is, jammed up against this palm tree at this park. Kind of crazy to see this much destruction. Possibly a little bit of erosion here as well. There in the distance is Minnesota Key. Now, we weren't able to get all the way through Minnesota Key. Somewhere in the middle around there, it's closed off because the destruction is so massive. They won't let you go through there, so. And there are homes here. Obviously, these homes had several feet of water inside. Now, this area, you know, a lot of urban legends about this area. You do find bags of money. You do find bags with anything out here. They're legends, but they're also true. People do find all types of stuff. So after a hurricane like this, people could have bags of anything, really, and they float around. Real stories, real legends. Haven't been lucky yet. Or unlucky, actually, because a lot of that times, that stuff just brings more problems than it does solutions. A lot of times that stuff just brings trouble. People run into something like that and they think they're going to get a little come up. And they don't realize how much trouble it actually brings them to their lives. But for me today, all I found was a pack of human waste. Imagine your whole entire life, everything you own, out on the sidewalk like this. It really breaks your heart for the people that live here. And this is why you should always follow evacuation orders when you get them. Imagine staying behind when the water here came 4 to 5 feet, rushing through here, pushing debris. I mean, imagine if you had stayed behind for this nightmare. Look at this boat right here, guys. Do you think you had a chance of survival if you were caught in this rushing water? So just take a look around and ask yourself, do you really think you had a chance for survival if you were caught in this storm surge? Hey, sorry to tell you, buddy, but you can't park your boat here. No crap. Excuse me, sir, you can't park your boat here. And well, that's just kind of how useful some of these government agencies are. Your boat floats away, it flips over, crashes into a fence, and they don't help you come fix it. They put a sticker on it saying, hey, you can't park here. Sad for the person who owns this boat, and laughable for whoever decided that they needed to go around slapping stickers on stuff like this. And just so you know, in Fort Myers Beach, there's giant boats that have been in the mangrove since Hurricane Ian, and they're still there, so. Now, we are kind of behind a funeral home, so the smell here is very straightforward. So I find a bag behind a funeral home, and I'm thinking, man, I may just have found a couple pounds of substance here. But well, it turns out that it might have come from the funeral home, and it wasn't a pleasant bag to find. So next time you find yourself finding a Ziploc bag with a few kilos behind a funeral home, and you think you scored, yeah, think again. It may not be herbal essence in the bag. It might actually be. I need to leave. The smell here. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of nasty smells after a hurricane, but there's a few smells that are kind of unpleasant, to say the least. This garbage can was destroyed by the hurricane, but people still found a way to put garbage in it. And this is what Dearborn looks like. And again, Dearborn is kind of like the main street here. This is kind of downtown Englewood. You would think the downtown of a city getting destroyed like this would in some way or another make headlines, but it doesn't. It's not Tampa or St. Petersburg. It's really not newsworthy enough for them. And actually, all these fences might have helped slow down the storm surge. I'm thinking if it wasn't for these fences, the destruction here could have actually been a lot worse. It looks like the fence stopped and slowed down the storm surge.
Oh, nasty.
Really, you can smell it on me? I'm gonna go figure. It was a Ziploc bag behind a funeral home after a hurricane. I really thought it was a bag of work, but it wasn't. And I wouldn't have kept it. I don't use that stuff or want any money from that stuff. I just thought it'd be a really cool thing to find until I realized the sinister truth of what it actually was.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto West Frey Street.
Wow, how does this not make the news? Look at the house. How does this not make the news? The only reason that I knew that Englewood was in this condition is because my subscribers on my YouTube channel told me, but the news hasn't reported. Look at the condition of Englewood, Florida. And none of the news agencies are reporting on this. This is literally catastrophic and nobody's reported on it. And why isn't this on the news? Why isn't this what we're seeing? The only reason I even knew there was destruction in Englewood again is because my subscribers told me to come to Englewood. But if it wasn't for my subscribers telling me, I wouldn't know because, well, the only thing they're covering is St. Petersburg and Tampa. Look at this. This is like on par with what I saw during Hurricane Ian. You know, why don't we know that Englewood got hit this bad? I mean, I live in this metropolitan area. I should see this on the news. I really, once again, want to thank my subscribers here in Englewood, Florida for keeping me informed of what's going on in your community through the comments. Like, here I am doing videos in all these other places, and Englewood is in this condition. If I had known you guys were in this condition, I would have been out here and helped you guys get at least some coverage. I would have brought you guys supplies when we had the FEMA runs. Not the FEMA, the National Guard runs, but I didn't even know it was this bad out here. This situation here is what you're not seeing on the news. This is what they're not showing you. Look at this property here. I mean, it looks like almost a quarter of this house is completely gone. I don't like to use the word catastrophic unless I actually think it's catastrophic. But I'm going to go ahead and say on today's video that it's fitting to say the word catastrophic for what's going on here. Now, a lot of people here in this area did not evacuate because there's a theory here that the Indian mounds protected this area. Obviously, that didn't really work. That wasn't exactly true, guys. We're looking at literally chunks of concrete. Block concrete that were wiped away by the storm surge. Concrete block houses that were wiped away. You can see right through them. But the locals here believed that the Indian mounds protected them and that this would never happen. So many people would refuse to evacuate during storms because of that belief. But we're seeing here today that that wasn't exactly true. These houses were literally cleaned from one end to the other. Anybody who stayed here in this area, I mean, look at the force of the water. It rushed in and it went right through these houses. The garage door barely held on. And it's not just one house here or there. It looks like the entirety of this neighborhood is in this condition. Houses like this where you can just see right through them. And again, to my subscribers in Englewood, Florida, if I had known that your town was in this condition, I'd have been out here first. I mean, I can't even imagine what these homeowners must be going through to come back and see this. And you know, the crazy thing about this situation is everybody in this metropolitan area is just about, you get your power restored, you get your water restored, your life goes back to normal. But the people that are living out here, their lives aren't going to go back to normal for a really long time. One of my favorite hobbies to see these aquariums out here hurts. It's almost hard to even put words to what I'm looking at here, guys. It's hard to watch. And I've seen a lot of hurricane destruction, and this is almost as bad as it can get, guys. It really is. I don't understand why we haven't seen this on the news. And actually, it's a good thing people here in this community know who I am, because coming here and recording all this destruction and people not knowing who you are, I can definitely see somebody losing it, upset with reason if they don't want your presence. So, to my people of Englewood, Florida, y'all stay strong. Y'all keep moving. Y'all gonna get through this. You can see people have just left supplies here in case somebody needs them. People do need them. You may ask yourself, how high did the storm surge come here? Well, look at the fence. It's an 8-foot fence, and it's got garbage all the way up to the top. So at least the waves came up that high.